Good evening, good...
Oh, pardon.
Get out. It's been a pleasure seeing you. Get out.
Get out of here.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 52 of our Sunday night live chat. As you can see, I've had a bit of a swap around. We've dragged my good friend Laz,
Good evening,
our
everyone.
good friend Laz, all the way from
Eastern Europe
via Colchester, via Tutbury, via Burton-on-Trent, via Birmingham, you name it.
Yeah.
So Chelmsford. So we're I'm absolutely delighted that this has worked out. It's took a bit of getting together, but delighted to welcome Laz to DSMC headquarters. And before we get into the meat and bones of everything, a big shout out to Luke and Luke's son Owen, who also came down, to JB, who we also made up with. A few of us went for Hilton, and we had a bit of a swap meet, and we've been going through, not to keep bringing up sad points, but we've been going through some of the boxes of Martin's stuff together that we're arranging to take to our live Swaddling Coat DSMC event, where I'll be there, Gary will be there, Luke will be there, hopefully John will be there, Moz, Bryan, Andy Bourne,
and Martin as well in spirit.
And Martin in spirit, of course, yeah. That comes up this Saturday. If anybody can make it that lives in the Midlands, we're hoping to make it, do this twice a year. This will be the first one. So we're going to see how it goes, and then we'll drag him over again.
You can
try. So while people are still logging on, and
Brian's just posted a message. He's got a problem with his Wi-Fi. He's having to reboot the router. It'll be on ASAP.
Alrighty. We don't know, but we don't know what Moz is up to. He may jump on.
Well, he's never on time, is he, Moz?
Right. So we've got Moz missing. Phil's away. So apologies on Phil's behalf. I'm hoping against hopes that we'll see Martin's wife leave a message in the chat. We've sent her a link. So hopefully Werner will be able to say hello in the chat. That's that. Update on Martin's charity, Animal Living. We have now raised an incredible £595. So,
plus me.
Whatever.
Big round of applause to our regulars who have donated to, Martin's charity. Werner and the family have been made aware. As always, we keep them in the loop. They are absolutely delighted. We're going to Martin's not having a funeral as such, but we're going to a celebration of his life on the 28th of April. I think I've got that right. Near opposite where Martin's lives. You're welcome to come. It's from 2 till 7. I'll have to confirm that. I think it's 2 till 7 at the bowling club, dead opposite where Martin's lives. So that'd be great. Again, to meet up with some of the boys that are not we don't see. I think Adam Brow's going, Adam Bruff as well, and some of the family. So I think that covers all the inside of things. Straight after this, which is going to be funny, we're going to record an episode of Midlife Models where Luke, where Laz is going to be taking on the Quick Build Challenge. So we're going to record that. We'll put that up so everybody can see
Challenge.
how well he copes with doing quick building.
6 plus.
6 plus, yeah.
What's that? 6 months.
Yeah. 6 hours. Yeah.
6 months. Where is the link for Martin's?
So we're going to be doing that later on. Depends how long we can stay awake for, really, doesn't it? Yeah. It's been an hands-on. It's been another full day today, but it's been an enjoyable day.
It's been busy.
Every time we get the gang together, whoever. Talk of the devil.
Hello. Is Tony watching as well?
Yes.
And he's here.
Welcome to Moz.
Hi, boss.
See him.
Oh, look at that. Oh, see, I honestly thought that Laz and PJ were the same person.
Thought
You
we
never
twins.
sleep in the same room, do you? And now,
Can't tell us apart, can you?
I
That's
know.
been debunked.
Yeah, that receding hairline has just gone that little bit more, hasn't it? It's. I think Laszlo's gone for the Grant Mitchell look. I think they call it.
Just a tad down one side, mate.
Just a
Good
tad
evening,
down one
Moz.
side.
Good to see you, buddy.
So I was a bit. I had to have a shower, mate, before I jumped on because I've just been such a busy day today. So
That's fine, mate. That's fine. Good evening to everybody in the chat. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to join us. Going to be an interesting one, this, because we looked at we looked at some of the topics that we'd chosen, and we decided to combine two rather than try and stretch one out. So we're going to be doing accuracy and what it means in modelling, and brand loyalty. So the boys are not aware of any of the questions except Laz can see him in front of him now for a change.
Glasses.
Yeah, take your glass off, pretend you've not read them. Yeah. So they're the topics we're going to be covering. If you've got anything to ask in the chat, regardless of what the subject matter is, we've got enough hands-on crew to answer any of your inquiries. Got any problems, got any issues, anything we can help with, we will do. We'll give Bryan an extra 5 minutes by going around the houses and see what everybody's been doing. Laz, if you could just nip back to your house and get the latest car that you've been doing. Yeah, that'd be great. So, before you left, what were you working on? Can you remember?
Yes, I finished the Dinky Toys Dodge truck. I painted it petrol blue and brown. I've done the flatbed brown. I finished the Matchbox luxury coach. I think it's Bedford luxury coach. That's done. That's what went on Friday on YouTube. And what else I have done? I finished that Mercedes 190E by Cruiser Models. That was the one before. And I just started, before I left, I started another 2 cars. But I can't remember now. What did I started? I think it's another Dinky Toys. Yeah, another Dinky Toys lorry. And the ice cream van. Corgi Toys Smithy's ice cream van. Yeah, that's the one. The blue one with the figure inside.
So, while forgive me for this, while he's been here, he's been going around various shops, right? Okay. And we've got the biggest parcel. He's had to hire another air ticket to get this parcel back to where he lives. What's the strangest thing? Forget the diecast.
How do you how do you
What
call
about
it?
it? Bells.
Bells.
Bellows.
Oh, Bellas. I bought the Bellas.
Bellows.
In Colchester.
He went to Colchester and bought, for no reason whatsoever, a pair of bellows.
It looks nice. I like it.
And what was the raised dog bowl?
Oh yeah, for our dog.
For Sonny.
I raised and a couple of treats for Sonny. Yes.
I'm not kidding you. He's like a European Santa Claus, because when he goes back, he's got something for his mum, something for his other half, something for the dog.
Yes.
Sister.
My mum, my partner's mum. Yeah.
Yeah, he covered everything. Friday, we've got a picture of.
Yeah.
I've posted it on our Facebook channel.
She got a big bone now.
He's been feeding her. She thinks it's Christmas. Like, and then Luke came round as well, and that was it. My dog's been loopy all day. Like, so we've had a cracking day. We've had a cracking weekend.
A lovely Sunday roast.
We had a Sunday roast. Yeah. Laz flies back tomorrow. I want to say, wow, we've just hit £600 thanks to JB. They're going to be blown away. And I think there'll be more by the time we've done the event on Saturday. So there you go. So that's pretty much you up to speed. Yeah. Can't think of. Oh, Biscoff biscuit.
Oh, I've got Biscoffs. Yes, 2 packs of Biscoff biscuits. We just went into Tesco's, and the first thing we seen was the Biscoff biscuits.
So if anybody doesn't know, when Martin used to do his on the bench, he'd always got a packet of Biscoff biscuits on his desk.
And the Biscoff Bandits as well.
Yeah. And they're like the ones you get in like Premier Inn or something like that. And he's got to get some Biscoff biscuits from somewhere.
I got 2 packs now.
Got 2 packs. Yeah. So
sorted.
He's well happy with his collection of eclectic collection of stuff that he's taking back. So we also handed out, which Martin would appreciate, some bits and pieces to the lads that came round that are going to be taking a few pieces back home with them and doing them. They'll give a shout out to say, talk of the devil is another one. Blessings. There he is.
Good evening, Cap. Sorry, Wi-Fi issues.
Hi, Brian. You all right, Bob?
Surely, Hagrid, you could have just waved your magic wanding on both like that, Hagrid, get it sorted.
He started early.
Royal Virtues Biscoff biscuits. Yeah. So it's been I've really enjoyed. It's made my weekend. Seeing the guys, it's a real pick me up. So thank you to, as I say, JB, Luke, Owen, Laz especially, without singling him out, but he travelled a little bit further than everybody else to get here, and it was great that he could meet just a few of us live, and because the intention was he was going to come over and meet Martin for the first time, which obviously could no longer happen. But I played second best. We've been all right, haven't we?
Blame Donald Trump, Laz. Otherwise, I'd have been there as well.
Yeah. All righty, so we're just going around the house. So good to see Moz. Good to see Bryan. Welcome, boys. Good to see Gary. Luke, you asked me not to ask you the technical question first. So
Yeah.
we'll ask you what you've been doing first. Then instead.
You know what? I've been a busy boy, just none of it diecast, unfortunately.
That's fine.
I've still got the Escort, the Manchester Evening News, the one by Corgi, the Mark III Escort van. I've still got on the bench. It's ready for paint. It's in undercoat. I've printed all the parts off that I need for it, the body kits on it. Turning that into a Series 1 replica, which I've used to own a few years back. But yeah, other than that, like I say, non-diecast. I'm hoping to get a video out either Thursday. If it's not Thursday, it'll definitely be the week after.
Yeah, and I've asked him for a massive favour as well. Which he's agreed to do for me. That I picked up I was fortunate enough to get a couple of the Capris 1/25th scale, were they?
Yeah, 1/25th. Yeah, dinky.
From Martin. Back in the day, Martin did a rally Capri, which I gave him the decals for, and he did that, and I managed to get alter that again. But there was two that hadn't been touched, so I've asked Luke if he'll do the police one, the 1/25th police one. These are Capris, by the way. I think I've said that. And one, just to let his imagination go wild and put body kit on it and whatever he thinks best.
You picked the best man, I think.
I think, well, you were busy. You said I'm busy. Yeah. So, I'll be delighted to show them and give a shout out to Luke as when he's done it. But there's no rush on that, Luke. As on, mate.
Look forward to doing them. Boy, yeah.
He did a cracking version on a previous version of the Capri that he did. But unfortunately, he's lost the footage because of YouTube. So the mother effers.
Was that the green one, Luke?
No,
I've got a green one and an orange one, Bryan. I've done two of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely do them too. They are my favourite model, they are.
Yeah. So the boys that came down, I think Bryan's already had a few models. So have Luke, Laz as well. We'll be handing out a few more after the event on Friday, depending on what we've got left, to any of the guys that are from the DSMC.
Well, there's all the corgis here, don't forget.
Yeah, still got the corgis to go through.
I haven't gone through them yet. So
yeah, that's going to be a.
I've got mine as well.
Yeah, one that. Look at that.
It's gonna go into a small box, and it's gonna be.
Let me see if I can.
It's gonna be
very nice.
Oh, hello, it was sprung loaded.
Is that the corgi one?
Yeah.
Very
corgi
nice.
with wheels.
With wheels, yeah.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
So shout out to Luke on Scale Customs if you haven't subscribed.
Self-subscribed.
And of course, you need to subscribe to.
On that point, PJ, can I just interject? For those that haven't done it, I did mean what I said on the Facebook page. Please post your link in that thread if you want it added to the leaflet that gets given out. Right, I'll do it. Right, brilliant.
If you've got a YouTube,
I'll look at that in a sec, bro.
Do I need to do it?
And Andy Bourne has, and Michael in Australia has. So they're the only two so far.
Yeah, if you've got a YouTube channel and you do restorations, leave the name of your channel under Bryan's comments. He's got our full backing on that. He posted on my behalf, on our behalf, and we'll add you to the list of YouTubers we know, because obviously part of what we do in the community is share the share the not share the subscribers, but pass all the information on.
Well, the intention is to hand it out to everybody that comes to the toy fair, so everybody should have a copy. You might get a few more subscribers out of it.
Yeah.
Everything helps, mate.
And JB's got a few diecast as well to do. We found some
Planes.
some planes
Planes.
that he took away that he's going to have a crack at. So all in all, Martin would be delighted that some of his collections going to the lads to do and represent him in future episodes. So well done on that. Gary, my friend,
Yes.
what have you been doing, sir?
Right. The Wessex is finished and off the bench. It's in the cabinet behind me. So I'm glad that's done. I've actually, at the moment, got an empty bench. So it's ready to start the priming and prepping the figures I'm going to bring for Saturday to do the paint demonstration. Then it means I can actually get on with the tiger moth that's been sort of waiting to be done for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, hopefully, it's just to fill everybody in with that, with the SWAT event. We're hopefully going to try and do do workshops if people ask us about how we do things, whether it be diecast or plastic kits. We'll also have a guy called Ash there from the Warhammer shop, local to me, who's going to be doing some miniature painting as well. So looking forward to seeing that. And we've got some traders. So hopefully this will be a positive step in the right direction for us as a community and bringing outside people together as well to join us.
Yeah, please try and get along.
Yeah.
All the viewers. Be lovely to meet up with people.
Else we're just going to walk around in a circle, make it look like there's a crowd, which is not going to look well, is it?
We have got a good selling point, PJ. It is free.
It is free. It is free.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I was going to be there.
It is £100 a ticket next time round, or if you're late, Moz.
Yes.
So hopefully Moz will be there as well, depending on his schedule. But he knows that he's always welcome and we'll be delighted to see him. Sorry, Gary. So you've done the Wessex, you've got an empty bench.
Yep.
You've got something in the pipeline.
Yeah, I've got as I say, the figures I'm bringing Saturday are going to go with a diorama with the tiger moth and a car I built a few years ago. So it's quite a big project. So probably take me to the middle of April to get that done. Though I do have a deadline of something like about the 15th of May to get them done, because I'm going to take him with my modelling club to the De Havilland Museum when there's a model show there. So at least it'd be pretty appropriate to bring a De Havilland tiger moth to De Havilland.
I am assured. Excuse me. I am assured that we've got Wi-Fi there and an overhead projector screen, so we'll be showing some YouTube videos in the background. A bit of a mix and match. How many we can get through, I don't know. But predominantly been a lot of Martin stuff because he was due to join us, and he won't be able to. He won't be there. Yeah. Bryan, so
yes, mate. Essentially, what I've been doing is because obviously just had the move. I've just been trying to get all my tools together because various bits were in various boxes and things like that. So I've been doing that. I've got my.
Look how right posh his kitchen is now.
Yeah.
I can't see
I've
his
got
picture.
my thing all kitted out with me little standing sticks and bits and bobs and brushes and things like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing as a sort of preemptive strike, sorted out all my paints. So yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay. Good stuff. And that leaves our mate Moz.
He's been arguing with people on the internet. That's what he's been doing.
There are some really weird people on the internet, aren't there?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Let's put it on the big screen. I feel that might be coming up.
You want to see my latest tank build?
Rant alert.
Here we go. Tank build. So this is my gate guard that I produced. The challenge was to build. I think he's a subscriber, not a channel member. Asked me. I've got a couple of kits, and the decals are either missing or they are not viable for use. Probably damaged. They get stuck in between the instructions. Instructions get a little bit of dampness because that's what paper does. It extracts dampness from the air and the decal. So I picked up this kit. Got it for a bottle of Outlaw paint, to be honest. The challenge was to build something without using the decals. And as you know, any gate guard, they're either being painted over or they're just left to rust. And so that's what I did. I created a bit of a gate guard idea. So, but yeah, it's the cruiser tank Mark III from Tamiya, which is British Cruiser Mark VI, I think is the name for it as well.
Is that the part diecast one, Moz?
Yeah, this is diecast based, so you're going to have to use a bit of the old Super Duper on it for the wheels and for the rear and the front panel there. But it went together an absolute joy. So
that's a £50 copyright strike straight away there.
Is that right? What for saying Super Duper?
Put it in the pot.
And there's that one.
At least you didn't put it on the magic roundabout.
No,
There's another 50.
There we go. He's going to go and boil the kettle. That's
Yeah.
what
A bit of toast.
Oh, look at this! It's just mounted up in it.
It's just about 200 pounds.
I've my next build that went to vote on Bearded Veteran Creates is Discord. Got 3 models I'm going to be building, and the next one is going to be this Horch 4x4 Type 1A. So I'll be building that, and this time I will use the decals on that one. Mind you, there's only a few decals in that one, to be fair. But yeah, that will be my next project. I'm just trying to catch up with kits that I've bought recently, and then afterwards, once I've done that, I think I'm just going to have to knock it all on the head and get this Messerschmitt finished. Which, I'm not having rows with people, but I've done the engine. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. If I get in close, hopefully it will hopefully zoom in a second. Is it going to zoom in for me? Is it going to zoom in? It's not going to zoom in, is it?
No.
So I've done the engine on this bad boy, and and then somebody's nicking the pictures and posting it as their own work on Facebook.
Yeah.
Which I think is absolutely disgusting behaviour. At least credit the person for doing that, if you know what I mean. Just credit the person, but they didn't, obviously. So, and the worst thing is that you report this stuff, and Facebook reply back saying this doesn't go against our community standards. And I think that is the biggest crock of crap ever announced by them. You can have that response is just bad. But I've had some really good comments about my Tamiya Extra Thin Mr. Tool Cleaner video.
I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but that wasn't the language you used the other night. He was not happy. He was not an happy guy, and I don't blame him. He's quite right. He's quite right, because we followed that build of that engine since when he first started doing it, the weathering, putting it together, and the lad has put so much work into it. And just for somebody to go and snap it up and say they did it is an absolute bloody crime.
It's a tragedy and a travesty. That's what it is.
A tragedy and a travesty.
If they had said, look at this engine built by MOS6510 Models, isn't it great? Or whoa, but to say, look at this, isn't this
Haven't I done a fantastic job?
Haven't I done a fantastic job on this?
I am a god amongst men and model kit builders, but that was pushing a bit too far.
But it brings into the subject matter of how do we protect ourselves online? And 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 ultimately, I just think that I'm just going to have to get a placard made, and then take my pictures with my logo in the picture.
All they'll do, Moz, is crop it.
Well, that's the thing. I was just thinking, if you have a I don't know.
I'm just thinking, Moz, stick. You got that white background behind you.
Yeah.
Put one of your stickers on it.
That's what I'm going to do. But I've had to order some more. I've given out so many stickers.
I think I've got a spare one I can send you back.
Yeah, just peel it off your board. Like,
no, I think I've got one in the drawer that's spare where you've sent that many out.
I've ordered some more, and not trying to be big headed. I do spend the money on those stickers. They're not crappy plastic. They're proper matted. They're a good sticker, to be fair. But unfortunately, I've given away so many of them. I've had to order some more. So I'll order some more.
I think Luke's got technical problems.
Whilst running the thanks out,
can I ask Moz a question?
Just 2 sets, bro. A massive thanks to Moz for doing the postcards of Martin that he did. 2 arrived today. I'm going to pass one on to Powdy, who's up in Scotland.
I've got one as well.
Got one for Laz. So thanks for doing them for us, mate. It means a lot to all of us that you did that.
Yeah. Well, as I said, Joe, it was I just think that it's really nice. I know it's expensive, but it's just an easy thing to do. It's like even now, like for my model club, because got a membership now to Touch Note. What I do is when it's their birthday, I find a picture of them at a model show with the club, and I get it on the front and send it. But there's not an issue. It's just that I can't send these extra large ones. So these are £7 a pop. I can't send these abroad, so you have to have them a little bit smaller. But I think they print them lovely, and I think
it was cheaper for you to travel over here and collect it than it was for us. Is what he's saying.
Yeah,
I think I've sent 12 out now, so which is good.
Yeah, the family are. Yeah, from the support from all of us, from whether you've been, it's Martin subscribe. We. Sorry to keep on about this, but we need to round some of this up just so everybody's in the know. I'll come back to you, Brian. I forgot. We have got custody of Martin's channel now, so that's been secured. I did put a quick message in the chat there, and the responses we got from everybody were lovely. I said, please forgive me. I know I'm not Martin, but I just wanted to let everybody know what the situation was from the horse's mouth. And I passed the link on to Verna. She's read all the comments, and she hadn't. I don't think the family realised how big at the time Martin was. So grateful. Bri, sorry, I'm not going down this road any further. So you had a question.
Yeah, I had a question for Moz. Tam, you're extra thin. Why are you promoting Mr. Hobby tool cleaner when it's clearly different? I mean, I've read the comments. It must be true. There's people out there saying that you're telling porky pies.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the fact that that I've come across a product, and you can mix your own. You clearly can. I know that. But I've been using, and I don't just put out, when I did the original airbrush video 3 years ago, the airbrush cleaner video, I went into the data sheets and said, look, it's 50-50 for the glue, and then it's
51.49.
No, it's 50.1, and then 49.9. There's a 0.01 difference in the mixtures, or 0.1 in the mixtures, and it worked great. But I got this stuff. I thought, it's tool cleaner, airbrush cleaner. Let's have a go with it, and I just tried it. But I don't know whether it was just because they've mixed it 60-40 or 40-60 with, you know, it just bites. And when you're a scale modeler, that is important, that it bites. So when you put it on, you can adjust it and move it, but you don't want it so that, you know, I've done it before, especially if you use, like, people go on about Tamiya extra thin fast sets. Or no, it's the other one, the green one, isn't it? It's the Tamiya quick setting. Okay. I always find that only works when you put the parts together, then you use it. This stuff evaporates so quick that I don't, you know, you've got to just straight in. At least with this tool cleaner, it goes in and it bites and holds position, so you can adjust it a little bit. And then, so there might be something extra in it, but whatever the formulation is, I used it for constantly in the I had it about 18 months ago. I started using it, but I can guarantee the last 12 months, every kit I've built has used tool cleaner, and that's it.
Clearly, mate, I'm being facetious because
Of course
obviously,
you are. Yeah, I know that.
you know I've been using it as well. What I don't understand is the antithesis to it. I don't understand why people are saying, "Oh, well, it's not Tamiya extra thin, so you shouldn't be using it." It's like, well, if it's the same product, it's a bit like saying, "Don't put that milk in your thing because it doesn't come from the same cow as mine."
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you know, you've got a guy who responded saying it would be nice if you could see you using it on unpainted parts. And I was like, it's in the video. You can see that I've done the fuselage. I've sprayed it all the way up and the cockpit parts and put them together painted. And then I did the wings unpainted. So you could see that it works. But for me, you know, and one of the things I found is that, and which was the get go for me. I am somebody who paints up a part even on the sprue, and Gary will do it as well. Do you, Gary? You paint it on the sprue because you'll end up losing it, and then what ends up doing is you slip it off, and then you've got to clean off the paint. Well, I was using that tool cleaner with the paint still on, and it was just welded through the paint, welded onto the plastic, and it works. So you don't have to clean off the paint. You know, so that's the difference.
But I saw some of the arguments being, "Oh, you're only saving a few quid." I mean, the big bottle of Mr. Hobby is it 600 ml?
No, it's 400. So this is a 40 ml bottle.
Yeah,
and I understand. Yes, you're buying the glass and you're buying the brush. Understandable. I get it, but that's still £4.50, and you can then buy 400 ml, which is 10 bottles.
Yeah.
For £9.50.
Exactly. And you can use it. You can reuse the bottle.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it was just one of those kind of, it's interesting. But when you get a video that does go viral, the idiots do like to come out and play.
Yes,
that is the issue. And people are saying, "Oh, just use MEK." Well, newsflash: MEK has been listed as a carcinogenic.
It's lethal.
Acetone and butylacetate is not carcinogenic. So we had the big issue. I think it's 4 years ago? We couldn't get Humbrol enamels.
I think it's about 2.5, 3 years. It's about 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, Miko was banned, which is which had an additive of variants of MEK. So, and Revell was on the ball with this right from the beginning. So Revell was already taken out of their line, but Humbrol didn't. So even though you could still buy it, they couldn't make it with MEK or Miko. Simple as.
But the funny thing is, people have been saying that the smell of the airbrush thin is bad, but it smells exactly the same as extra thin.
Well, there's definitely more of a flowery smell to it. Like I said, the airbrush cleaner with Tamiya airbrush cleaner and this is very, very good. The smell is like bubblegummy, flowery.
Yep.
This stuff, but then you're not there with a bottle under your nose sniffing it while you're painting it, are you? Do you know what I mean? And also, I've got
not unless you've had a really bad day.
Yeah. You know what? I just think it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if I do a video, you're always going to get some idiotic comments. But if you and I don't really respond to them, I just thumb up, give them a heart because it's still engagement. But it's actually, if you look through the video, the amount of people that have thanked me for doing the research on it, and it was the same with the airbrush cleaner. That airbrush cleaner did 60,000 views. This has already done 40,000. And I know it's a bit clickbaity, the thing, but when you have over 150 hours of content being uploaded to YouTube every minute, every day, you know,
You need an
you've
edge.
got you need an edge, and so that's why I did it. I've dumped this, and now I use this. But I put my money where my mouth is because I did the video, and you know. But I've also been doing it for 18 months. But I've been using airbrush cleaner, Tamiya airbrush cleaner, for 3 years. But all I was finding was, so I'm going on a bit. But when I was buying that original airbrush thinner, it was £6-7. Now it's up to 12 quid. So I'm expecting this to go up now because I've opened up a can of worms though in that. But still, you know, it's another thing is that what I do people say, well, when you finish the bottle, then start to use this or try this. If you don't like it, put it in it, use it to clean your airbrush with. You know, it's simple as. Or even just put it in this bottle. If you want to just mix it up, put it in, you know, it's everything's the same. So
there is one problem with getting it though, especially if you ask PJ to get it for you.
Oh yeah. Well, there's two sizes of bottles in there. You either got the 250ml or you get the 400ml. That's what the 400 means, is 400.
Yeah.
But I'm becoming more of a Mr. Colour, Mr. Hobby fanboy than I'd ever imagined I'll be.
Yeah, I've got some of their paints. It's very good.
The paints are phenomenal.
Yeah.
That tank was painted with Mr. Colour green. And again, people ask me, I get these bottles off Amazon. And what I do is I actually mix the primer. I get the little bottle, add a bit of Mr. Level thinner into it. Yeah, that's exactly the same size bottle. But what I do is I add some into it, then I give it a mix, pour it into here, and then fill up again that thing to really give it a shake, get it all out into here. Then top a little bit more. So it's about 60-40, 60 thinners, 40% paint.
Yeah.
And that bottle's lasted me a year so far. So that's what I do. I mix up my own paints now. You know, thin them out myself, ready. So.
Sorry, PJ, I'll
what I
shut
understand
up
about smell, this stuff is, Martin will tell you, absolutely reeks. It's awful. You definitely don't want to get your nose anywhere near this to smell it. It is repugnant. I think it's been designed to make you not want to sniff it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So just to round things out, a quick build kit. So I did I've done for a while the P-51 D-Day Mustang quick build kit, and straight after this live chat, my mate here is going to be building one as a challenge. And I won't tell you how long it took me to do it. I'm not going to confess. So we'll see how long it takes Laz to do it, and then we'll put it up on the MLM challenge and probably share it on Laz's channel as well.
You can collaborate now.
Right. So thank you for the update, boys. So let's get on to topic then. Accuracy. Now, some of these may apply more to model kits than restorations, and some may apply to restorations more than model kits. So, question one. Because he's gone, I don't care, Luke. How important is absolute accuracy to you when choosing a model? And when I say model, I include both sides of the, whether it be a plastic kit or a die cast. So if you was going to do something like a 25th scale, car,
Well, I'll tell you, the van that I'm working on at the moment. So I've gone down the road of I couldn't get the body kit that I wanted for it, which is the Series 1. So what I ended up doing is printing. I managed to get a shell off Cult, printed the full shell off, and then cut the arches, the front spoiler, and the side skirts off. But also then I went down and I printed the proper front grille for it. Hunted down a set of files for a set of mirrors that are off the Mark III. Also a set of softline RS wheels. And then you're into fog lamps, seats, even the RS steering wheel I've put in it, or I've printed. And also the speakers that I had in the back of it, which was 4 12-inch subs with each amp was 2,000 watt, which I've got. They're all going to be detailed and put into the van. So yeah, that for me, I've gone on the extra mile to get it looking like the van I used to own.
Yeah.
But it depends what you're after when you say accuracy in like to whatever car you're doing. Really, I tend just when I pick a model, I'm looking to see what can I do with it, and that's the journey I go. It doesn't have to look like a real car, but it's what I can make out of it.
All right, we'll do one plastic kit and then we'll do one diecast. So, Bryan,
I don't care. I really don't care. A bit more so with the plastic stuff. Obviously, I want, if I'm doing a Spitfire, I want it to look like a Spitfire, appropriate colours and things like that. But definitely not a rivet counter. As long as the model makes me happy, that's all that matters.
Fair enough. Laz?
Yeah, I think I'm close to the thinking. Like, look, if I see a model I want to do, I try to see when it's ready, when it's done. So try to see what I can do with it, what extra details I can add on, and how can I make it more standing out from the crowd. So make it something different, something unique. Sometimes, yeah, I do the matchboxes. Just a sympathetic restoration, but I never really do. What happened?
Nothing, carry on.
I never really do. I'm never really so keen on make something like look like the original, because since you drill the rivet out, it's not original anyway. And
Yeah.
sometimes I have a comment that, oh yeah, that should be blue, that should be red. Yeah, well, it should be how I like it, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't really care. I mean, I don't do plastic kits because I've got a problem with storing them after that, and what to do with them. But with the diecast, I just pick what I like really, and what I think I have a good idea for that one. I put some nice decals on. I'll make it, how I imagine it look fantastic, and this is how I do it. Really.
Gary?
Yeah, accuracy. Right. As long as it's represents as Bryan said about the Spitfire, represents the subjects and is appropriate size to what the real thing is. Though there are some Chinese manufacturers, Moss will attest to this, that do design kits off reference pictures and get things wrong. And a certain British company a few years ago did the same with a certain kit and actually had to put their hands up and said, oops, we made a mistake. As when they actually tried to sort of redesign a kit to add a certain weapon onto the kit and didn't realise when they added the weapon, what was thought was a pylon was actually a door.
Yeah.
And Moz will know which kit I'm talking about when I'm saying that.
Yeah. For me, or come to Moz, for me, if you're doing some of the Matchbox super fast, I don't like the big fat tyres, the big fat wheels. Mind you, I don't like the very thin wire axles either.
Yeah, but normally the thin
Yeah.
super fast wheels. They got the very thin wire
Yeah.
axle.
Well,
Yeah,
the benefit now,
you can
5
change.
years down the line,
Yeah, you can change the wheels.
is the kind
Yeah.
of stuff that Luke's been finding
Yeah,
with the 3D wheels.
yeah. I mean, look at these wheels. I mean, if he would have done this with the original wheels, that would look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with these ones, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might just go home, take this apart, take the wheels out, chuck the car.
Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? A bit harsh.
A bit cheery.
I wouldn't do anymore, Luke. I wouldn't do anymore.
It's all right. It's all right, Brian. I'm sure I'll meet him again someday.
Moss, accuracy on models.
Accuracy is very important nowadays because we've got the technology to replicate it as accurately as we can, and all down to the research. Can I just hopefully not upset people when I say this? I don't think diecast is accurate at all. I look at a lot of smaller diecast cars and stuff, and they're not accurate.
No.
You know,
Okay, bye.
yeah, I understand that. I understand that, but you're not collecting or you're not building that model. It just comes in a box. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, you just
You know, whereas, you know, with a diecast collector will find something and I own that car, and they buy it, but it's not particularly accurate, but it looks something like it. You've got, you know, what was, you know,
I know what you say. I'm going to play devil's advocate a bit here.
yeah, do it. I'm playing devil's advocate with that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you.
I think they're getting better and better.
Well, if you go down,
just one thing. When I look at a diecast car, the paint always looks too thick on it.
Yeah.
There's no depth to it. There's no depth. Whereas on a plastic model kit, you can pre-shade everything and you can build up. You can make stuff look canvas if you really want to, or look like it's got the bow. Every Corsair I've seen, you know, because the Corsairs have got the skin kind of bends in through the ribs, doesn't it? If you know, it's something. Corsair with the deviate. Every diecast one is just straight with lines going down it. There's no depth to it. And I always think that diecast always looks overpainted, but there's a reason for that. Is that diecast stuff was never meant to just be left on the shelf. They were designed that kids can chuck it about, you know, so the paint won't chip. So I understand that.
The
But
flip side of that is now that, I mean, I know there's a stall that I could take you to where there's some really high class I produced, like Vanguard, like even Jada. I mean, Jada's sold in this toy shop, but if you buy the 1966 Batmobile from Jada, it's almost perfect, down to the last detail. Because when you brought the 66 Batmobile, the diecast version, you got the cog on it to fire the missiles. Well, it never had a cog on it to fire missiles in the TV studio version. What I mean, that's as you quite rightly said, Boz. You know, it was a toy to be played with.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
and also, they've got to be made so that kids can't kill themselves by chewing on it and swallowing a wheel.
Oh yeah.
So, and you know, and the paints have got to be kept safe. You know, is this all? You know, the remember the lion in a triangle. I remember this. There are things that happened in my life. I remember watching on the telly. There were three things. There was Lockerbie. Okay, that was something that really inbred because I've got a massive fear of flying for years. Lockerbie, Hillsborough, because I was in the pub when that was all happening, and the little girl who died from chewing the hair off a My Little Pony. She died. And that was there was a big uproar about it. That you know these toys, you know nowadays the hair you can't pull the hair out of a doll. You got to cut the hair. And this girl was, you know, and she ended up choking on hair, and she died. And that's when the triangle came out. I think a lot of people might remember it. The
I
line in
remember
the
it.
triangle.
Yeah, it's yellow, wasn't it? Yellow line.
Yeah.
It
And
was
the
sort of
worst,
like a red image.
yeah, and the worst thing was the lead in the
I'm going
paint.
to fight back on that quite fiercely. I've got one. I've only got one example of it happening. My granddaughter asked for everybody. If you've got, daughters, granddaughters, you've got nieces. All the girls wanted like an hairdresser's head where you could brush the hair, blah blah blah. So I got her one off Amazon, and it wasn't the cheapest thing in the world, but it wasn't the dearest. It was 25 quid. She'd been combing that thing for about 15 minutes. Hair was dropping out of it left, right, and centre, and it was cheaply made. So I'm going to push back slightly on that.
What I was going to say is it was at that time when they said that there was a lot of cars out there, a lot of dinky and all that, where there was lead in the paint, and they said no more.
Yeah.
And it was around that time, when this girl died. I'm sure I remember it on the telly, it was quite tragic. But as I said, when I look at cars, when I look at dinky stuff, like I bought a John Deere tractor for my dad. And as somebody who worked on John Deere's, even spraying up John Deere's, full size to get them ready, resale value and stuff, the green on it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. But Ian's made a really good point there, the casting lines on diecast were designed as toys, not like nowadays where you have to specialize collectors' models. But he's absolutely right. But but it looks all right. But in the plastic sphere of scale models, we strive on, or companies strive on getting it right. And also, but with that, you've also got the thought of how is it made and how you want to build it. There are things they can't do because plastic is a substance. You need to have some sort of thickness to it, else you get sink marks. So they have to design. One of the things was the Ferret Scout. They got the grill on the back completely wrong, but they had to choose it as a choice because the only way to do it really was with a photo etch. And as you know, Airfix don't put photo etch in any of their kits, and unless they're made by another company. So they made a designer's choice on how they had the slats going across, not narrow, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's interesting. It does make an interesting. But diecast,
on the back of that, to expand it out slightly, what details matter most? If you are looking for accuracy, let's say,
yeah,
what details matter most when you're choosing a car? I'm going to say car to represent diecast, a plane for plastic kits. Paint, decals, proportions, or interior,
cool.
or something else. So we'll start with Gary this time. Gary?
Well, as you're saying, decals, paint, you're talking about basic schemes. They have to be historically accurate. Yes, there has been a little debate recently about the second release of the Bristol Bulldog. Is it or isn't it Douglas Bader's serial number on the plane? So people are questioning. Some people saying it is, some people it isn't. Paint sort of colours. Yeah, you can get some colours, and they say, "Oh yeah, use this," and it's totally too bright or too dark for what it should be. So you do have to do sometimes your research to make sure you get the things looking at least close to what it could have been.
Yeah. Okay. Luke?
I'll tell you what I noticed on, like, I've only built a couple of kit builds. I'll go on to the kits this time. The Revell Mustang that I did when I was building the engine, it even had the core plugs printed into the block. Now, you don't even see them once the exhausts are on, once the headers are on. You don't see them anyway, but they still put them there. And that really surprised me for that kit. even down to the little knobbles where your fingers would sit on the steering wheel. The detail that they put into them kits, the manufacturer, is unreal. And I am going to build a lot more of them. I really enjoy doing it. But for me, I usually change the colour and add a little bit of something different. So, yeah, but they are really good, the detail on them.
But I mean, we mentioned. I think there's more and more restorers that are trying to make, or attempting to make, or want to make their models look more like a modern day, a realistic car.
Yeah.
It's, even if it was something that was painted totally bright yellow with a great big white sticker on it. Now you're looking to think, well, I could go and get a kind of actual, car paint.
Yeah.
And the car paints are getting better and better and better. So you can get thin coats of primer, you can get thin coats of paint, and they're not. Are they too thick? Perhaps, yeah, it's coming out of a spray can. But we get some really cracking finishes on some of the models, yeah. So, like you've been doing, adding interiors. I mean, when you're talking about speakers and the RS steering wheel and things like that, yeah, I think it's not going to be long before we have a show. Perhaps what we're doing may be the start of it, with the DSMC, because the trades that we go to are people selling stuff and people buying. Sorry, obviously people selling stuff, but people selling diecast that's already in a good condition that you can't do anything with, or you're buying collector's items or kits to build like. What we haven't got is a show to say this is what I've done. We're not putting ourselves out there enough, which I think could be an argument for shows in the future, and hopefully it'll pick up and take off. Last paint decals, proportions, or interiors, or something else.
For me to choose, let me see. What details? Well, I think because I'm not producing my decors, sometimes I do go through my available decors I have. I have some custom made by Andy, and I have some made by a couple of guys and companies who are doing reproduction stuff. So sometimes I look at, I could use this on. So anyway, I see what I have, what cars I have available, and then I try to see what decors I have available. Try to match them up. This would look nice on that one. This is too big. This is too small. So I sometimes I pick like this. I try to pair them up and try to imagine that is that decor gonna look nice on that car? Is it not too big? Is it not too out of scale? Some sort of things like this. But the one thing I don't like to do anymore is fixing pillars on cars. I don't like gluing anymore because you put a lot of effort into that car. You paint it, you clear it, you put the decals and everything, and it can just snap, and then all the work you've done is gone because that snapped off. So I'm not gluing anymore. I don't like that. So I try to pick cars which is, even if the glass is broken or wheels are missing, but the chassis itself is in a good condition. Even if it hasn't got paint or a bit dent is okay, or a hole. But I try to pick when all the pillars there, no bonnets missing, or no bumpers missing. So I try to.
I suppose in those terms, accuracy to us might mean something slightly different in so much as if you're replacing a part, do you want it to be as accurate as the part you've replaced, if that makes sense, rather than a modern day part. So if you get it from the Steve Flowers of this world, if you 3D print it, do you want to get your replacement part as accurate to the what the model was?
Yeah, I'm not too happy with the diecast parts I did purchase before. I did paint some of the reproduction metal or diecast parts, and the paint just crack on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not too keen on. I that's what I'm saying. I rather find another car which has that part I need, and that's original, made by Lazi or made by Corgi or Dinky, rather than buying a reproduction part made out of metal, not plastic or decal. So I'm really not happy with the stuff, and they look horrible anyway. They got holes in it. They're not nice. The metal made parts are not nice.
Bryan?
Well, a couple of things really. Like you did with the Capri, obviously because of Luke's abilities, I've given him 4 of my cars but I want those to be reminiscent of ones that either my dad has had or I've had. So that's the desire to have accuracy with those, but it's only accuracy to what
You can
appeals
do
to me. It's not accuracy to an original diecast model. So that's I think with diecast it's slightly different. I want it to look as good as it can be as a diecast. However, it doesn't necessarily have to replicate as it left the factory. Now, with plastic models, that differs obviously greatly, because the one thing that anyone that makes plastic models will know is, generally speaking, you buy a kit and you've got 3 or 4, sometimes 3 or 4 different choices of the way you can finish it. Now, when it comes to that, picking the right one for you is the most important. You might pick the easiest version, you might pick the most difficult version, but the point is for me, that's the bit that has to be accurate. With diecast, as Moz said, because with diecast, I think it's a very different thing. When I do my, like when I did the little tow truck thing, and I put different decals on. And a classic case in point was Luke. Luke did this. So the Matchbox GT40, he redid it with the Golf colouring and the Golf lettering and decals, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal, and as a model, it looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
But so accuracy. It depends what you mean by accuracy. It was accurate to the Golf GT40, but it wasn't accurate to the Matchbox version. So, I think it's horses for courses.
Yeah.
I've changed that GT40 once to a dark bourbon red, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be white, but I loved it red.
Yeah.
And you're going back to you talked about the aerosol cans. You think about it, up to a few years ago, those contained cellulose. Now they're acrylic based, water based.
Yeah.
So that's why they're probably going down better.
Yeah. And you get some, and a lot of the time you can get away without a primer.
Yeah.
And just use the cap.
That is actually the Ford I've done is actually a red primer.
Yeah.
And I cleared it, and it looks fantastic. I did send Martin a Jaguar Mach 10 by Matchbox, and I painted that with the red primer, and that was the main color.
You see, I like we talk about not necessarily accuracy, I guess, but a lot of the bases on the old Dinky and Corgi used to be grey. And you can get away with just putting a coat of primer down, the grey Tamiya, the high coat grey primer, and give it a coat of clear, and it looks as good as the original. Moz, your thoughts?
I do like a good deco scheme. I like decals. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
The one thing I will say is that accuracy, whether the rivets are innies or outies, the designers have pretty well put them in the right place. Now, I'm an innie guy because I like to put a wash in there and make the rivets look like dots on a thing. Yeah, mistakes do happen. Researchers are only human.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of criticism. But for me, accuracy is part of the journey. And you will have people who will scratch build things saying, you got to remember that every model kit that has an engine that you build and you put in the scale model will be smaller than it actually represents, because you still got to fit it inside the confines of plastic. And I always laugh when people say, "Oh yeah, the engine's too small." Well, yeah, it has to be, else it won't fit, because you still got to put the panels on, and panels, and a 1/48 scale, where the panel might be 5 mil thick, it'll mean it has to be 0.0% thick. You know what I mean? And so they would just break, and they would just flap around because it's plastic. So
because I can
long as
remember
it looks right.
Nigel saying when he built these the first 24 Spitfire, he said if the engine was accurate to scale, the cowlings would be almost like tissue paper.
They would be, yeah,
in scale.
in scale, yeah.
So you have to compromise somewhere.
That's what it's about. Like I'm saying, like I said about the diecast, I'm not trying to diss people, and people can say quite what they want. Inside a diecast car at 164 for 143, they're basic. Some of them don't even come with a handbrake. But on a 148 scale model, you've got the levers, you've got the foot pedals, you've got everything in there that you need. On a diecast, not so much. So
it's a solid point. It's a solid point.
Yeah. So, but that's because when we build a model, they're not designed to be played with. They end up on a base on a shelf, and that's where they're left. They're not touched and manhandled. So you can you can have cars, like I said, on diecast. They always seem to mold as it's just me on certain cars. They always mold the mirrors in diecast, don't they? They're not stuck on with the plastic and stuck on, are they? And they always look a little bit warped and everything. But yeah, it was what you when you get out the hobby. For me, it's about building and enjoying the experience of painting it up to make it look almost representative of what it is in real life, but at a smaller scale. Like I said, I can't vote that 1/8 size Mustang, which I'm going to try and finish this week. I've got all the bits now. I've got it downstairs now to start building that up again.
You ready for the hernia?
Yeah, that's it. It's heavy, isn't it? But yeah, at the end of the day, you've got the size of it, so you can add, the stalks. You can add a decent dial and speedo, and and everything, and a radio and lights and everything else. But the smaller you get with diecast, it's more about playability, and that's why. And I said, I think those who buy diecast and they want accuracy do go for like the one. Is it 1/24 from 1/16 scale? I think it is for accuracy. I'm you tell me. But was it 1/32 or something like that in it for their scale? But yeah, it is what it is. You do what you want to do, really.
We just want to give a shout out.
Yeah, I would like to shout out to my instructor Sifu Cool, and his School of Kung Fu SX. So he said he's gonna join us. So hello, Sifu. Welcome to the chat.
Yeah, welcome. I'm a black belt in Scottish karate. Fuck you.
He's without joking, he is a master in Wing Chun. He's grade 5, so he is a real master. He's not a joke. So he's my Sifu.
Welcome, sir.
So-
welcome.
so thank you for coming, Sifu.
Thank you for dropping
Welcome on,
by.
sir.
He's safe and sound. He's safe and sound.
Yeah.
We're looking after him.
Yes.
Is anybody I've missed on that? We've lost Luke for momentarily. So on the flip side of that, how much inaccuracy is acceptable before it ruins a model for you? So
I think it's pretty much the same answers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I pick up on what Moz was saying. What I don't like is, I totally agree with him, that if you're going to put a steering wheel on a diecast vehicle, put a steering wheel on a diecast vehicle. Don't mould it into the dashboard.
Yeah.
Because it looks bloody awful. You know, you're right, Moz. You don't see the handbrake unless you're paying some of the IM prices for some of the kit.
And as I said, I'm not being facetious when I'm saying it.
We're talking two completely different, hobbies.
Just as an example, you've got diecast there, and you have that vent on the top of the bonnet, right by where the windscreen wipers are. I've never understood why they don't just put the hose in. Instead, they make it like it's been imprinted on, basically, and then just paint it, and it looks terrible. You've got diecast there. It's strong material. Why don't you just get the mold in so that it puts holes in, or at least clean them up at the back? It's little things like that which I find a little bit sad. But on some cars, if they're a little bit bigger, they will put a plastic chunk in there, a black plastic. They'll leave a hole in there and put a plastic one in. But when it's molded in the die-cast, I just never understood why they don't just actually make them holes, not just little ridges, if you know what I mean. There's little things like that. And we wouldn't accept that, would we, Gary, in scale modelling, in plastic,
No, you could say the same could be said for plastic cars, the kit cars. They do not do the scuttles with the gaps in them.
Yeah.
They're usually like a moulded representation into the bodywork. Whereas you say, how much more would it be to actually open those holes?
Yeah. Well, for instance, on that MG, I keep saying it to people when they go, I'm going to build the MG from Airfix. I say to them, that grill on the front, it'll be full of flash now because the tooling's old. You've got to turn it over and from the back, sand it, and then you will get the holes because the holes are there. You just, because it's flash and it's an old tooling, you've got to, but don't go from the front. Don't stick a knife in it. You don't need to cut out the flash. Go from the back, sand the back of it, and it will come through. I think Martin Dare had one. He was going to talking to me about it, and there's a lot of kits like that, from back in the day. The 1/32 scale cars, but the holes are there, but because of flash, they fill up. But on a die-cast, they're not even pronounced enough. They're just like, it looks like they've just been stamped on, and just put the holes in. They're just one of those little things I see,
The sad thing is, if you go back to the relatively early days, not the very early days, but the sort of the golden era of Matchbox, when you had the injection molding interiors, because they used to open out and come flat for printing, you had a steering column and a proper steering wheel and a dashboard and a gear stick, and you effectively folded it all over to get it into the car. And I think it was the price point that actually made it so that die-cast cars became less detailed, because obviously it took a lot more to actually make them. So obviously we all bemoan the fact that now you've got Hot Wheels with plastic bases and Matchbox with plastic bases. It's changed up because it's being built to a pound sign. Obviously you're not going to get the detail that whereas when you go up a few notches to like your Vanguards, where they have got the detail and they've got the wing mirrors and they've got the aerials and they've got the door handles and all that kind of thing, you're paying, you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Matt,
it. You know,
go on, Moz.
Ian Huddy's put a point up about Barago. I agree. They do look good, but they don't paint inside. It's still coloured plastic.
When you open the doors,
Yeah.
they often don't have paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Door frame inside because
Yeah.
they just paint from outside.
Yeah. They do look good, but the finishing of them leads much to desire. And again, like he said, you don't have to pay a premium to get accuracy. But
That's
accuracy
interesting. That's
is not about shape. Accuracy is about finish.
Details.
That's my point. Accuracy is about the finish.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing we picked up from you guys. That if you're doing something like one of the early 1940s sports cars or something along them lines, the level of different paints and paint effects that you can get, like the leather seats, Moz, you know. So instead of having you paint the whole thing white and that's it, you're done with it. Now you can go in and, well, I'll make it look like a leather seat with a paint effect, you know.
Yeah.
With the paints that you can get. I'll give it a chrome bumper where it was just all white before. So
yeah. I've seen guys get a hot needle and scratch little lines in the seat. So when they paint it, they'll use a panel line wash. So say they're doing a light leather look, they will then use a brown panel wash just to highlight so it looks like stitching on the seat, you know, things like that. You know, it's all the little things. But then when you do all this, that's another step in a workflow of getting a car from its parts to a completed model. So you're gonna have to pay somebody to paint those seats and mark up, you know. So it is price, definitely. But as you said, but like Laz said, you know, if you open the door and there's paint missing on the inside, you've got to ask yourself then, is that what you really want in a die-cast or even as a plastic model? You want to, it's like me spraying up a wing and not colouring in the flap where the flap opens slightly and it's a different shade, it'll be just plastic in there. It doesn't work. You've got to cover everything. So
look at when we were at Stafford, though. When we were looking for the bigger Fords. I mean, some of those, like the Lotus Cortina and the Cortina Mark II and the Escort Mark I, in the big scales, I mean, they were going for 100 quid.
Yeah.
80, 90, 100 £100.
But you think about these days, everything, when someone designs something, everyone looks at cost and how much profit they're going to make from that and try to keep the cost down as much as possible so they get maximum profit out of something. So they will scrimp on certain things to make that product meet their cost level.
I mean, I'm not going to blow smoke up Luke's ass. It doesn't need that because we know how good he is. But do you look at the model now, Luke, and go, not so much that it's inaccurate, but what can I do to make it look more accurate?
Yeah, I think that's why I put had the mirrors and the wipers and different things. I've recently started adding stuff into the interior, but you know, there is a certain point where the manufacturer does cut off, like they say, to keep the cost down, but you're always looking to enhance the model when you restore it. Anyway, that's my take on it. I'm looking to add, and sometimes you like the little Fiesta that I did not long ago. It didn't really look like a fucking sorry, nearly swore then, like a Mark 1 Fiesta, but I turned it into the XR2, and I think it looked quite nice when it was done.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of. I don't know whether it's a backhanded compliment or what, but there's a couple of kits that you've done where people have said I've got Bryan on twice for some bizarre.
Hey!
Other Bryan.
That's
No, we had
it.
a twin.
Apologies, Hagrid. He's on his fishing channel on one and on his diecast on the other.
Yeah. There have been a couple of vehicles that you've done that were plastic kits, and they've said that looks like a diecast model.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was intended as a compliment, not as a
I did ask a few people. I did ask a few friends of mine or people I know. I said, "What do you think of this car?" They said, "Wow." They said also a few other words, but I can't say here. But they said it looks fantastic. What is it, dinky? I said, "No, it's a plastic kit."
Yeah.
I think personally, a plastic kit is a lot easier to make look real than a dinky or a corgi, because all the details there, and if you do it properly, if you do come nice.
I am surprised, Luke, that you haven't, because one of the challenges I was thinking to myself, this was last year, this was when you were doing that E-Type Jag.
Yeah.
I was thinking you could take those E-Type Jag seats, which are accurate from that Airfix kit, and put them in a diecast car.
Quite easily. Yeah.
Quite easily.
Yeah.
As long as the diecast has the right measurements on the internals. I know diecast is a little bit thicker, but you could sand down the sides of those seats. But I was thinking, if you really wanted to, you could ship that, though, the internals of that 143 Jaguar kit from Airfix and put that into a diecast. There's something I was thinking about. I think you, in a little bit of flocking on there, I think you could have an accurate one, because those seats are, I've seen an E-Type Jag. I showed my dad it, and he said Airfix have got that spot on. He said the only thing that was really wrong with it was that they never enhanced it with a right-hand drive, which you can do if you just swap it around. If you 3D print it, do it, just get the pedals right. But yeah, I think that is one car you can look at, or there's other cars as well.
Sorry, Mark, go on, mate.
As long as you get the same scale, you could interact plastic stuff into a diecast to enhance it. So maybe that's a challenge for you, mate, as well.
That would be that's effective, the ultimate crossover, isn't it?
Yeah,
it would be. Yeah.
Well, effectively, that's what Luke's already started doing, isn't it? With printing his wheel arches and his mirrors and his bits and pieces. He's actually he's taking diecast from there to there.
Yeah.
The 3D prints has been a game changer for adding detail to diecast.
Yeah.
It has.
When I was we were talking today, and Luke was kind enough to supply me with some files for hubs and wheels, and it made that car look completely different. The BMW that I did, and you thought, Jesus, that's a game changer,
Wheels make or break a car. They do.
Yes.
I think they do. Yeah.
I mean, you have those later dinkies with them stupid plastic wheels. They look toy-like. They don't look like a proper wheel. The car may look nice, but you got them plastic, them the 80s dinky, with the plastic base and plastic wheels. They look ridiculous.
Like the Jaguar XJS, Laz, the wheels on that are absolutely stupid.
Or the Bedford. I did a show to look today. The Dinky Toys Bedford.
Yeah.
I think it was Royal Mail and AA Route Planner or AA, road services. They have the plastic wheel. They look ridiculous.
Because like Luke said about the 3D printing, 3D printing is going to start enhancing diecast like our aftermarket stuff.
Yeah.
A decade and a half ago for plastic models. It's now catching up to your side.
Yeah, I mean, it was even something as simple as himself here said to me, well, he didn't say to me, but showed me in one of his videos he does. Because when I look at videos, what I'm looking for is, I'm a bit like Simon Cowell of videos. I'm looking for something new, something different, something that's a game changer. And it was something as simple as drilling them exhausts out.
Oh yeah, on
Yeah.
the
And paint the
Stingray,
inside
on
black.
the Stingray,
Yeah. To give it depth.
yeah.
A bit more.
It looks like an exhaust pipe,
Yeah,
not just a flat end.
Yeah, because as I say, with armor modelers, they have been drilling out barrels for years to give it some sort of perceptive that it's actually a hollow tube rather than just a piece of plastic.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that was what happened with me at that scale model show, wasn't it? You know, I built that Kenworth lorry, and the first thing the bloke did was look at the exhaust, and because I hadn't drilled them out, he didn't judge any more of it. He walked straight by. And I thought, because when I thought it said out the box, I thought it meant out of the box. You know, you build it as it is out the box, but no, you are allowed to drill the holes in the silencers to give it, you know, the grill on the silencers. You are allowed to drill into the thing. So, but you're absolutely right. You know, it's always the little things that ruin the model. And like I was saying, why for years they've die-cast molded the wing mirrors on when really they should be plastic. And you know, it's one of them.
Did I say anybody on inaccuracy is acceptable before it ruins a model? Gary, did I miss you on that?
I think I don't think you've come to me directly, but inaccuracy can be, if something's so obviously wrong, it can actually, regardless what you do, spoil the look.
Have you? Well, let me rephrase the question slightly to you two, predominantly. Have you ever brought a plastic kit when you've opened it up and gone, no?
Yeah,
this looks totally wrong.
A few, yeah. There are some you can say, right, that's not quite right. Let's see what we can do. But there are others you just sort of open the box, look at it, and go, yuck, put the lid back on and put it back in the stash. Leave it.
Yeah. I don't think, I think accuracy has been good since the 1980s.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah. From, you know, anything before then, remember they were still milling out blocks of metal, weren't they, for their castings.
And it's all line drawn, wasn't it? Before,
yeah, all line drawn. You know, it was all done. You know, they would make them. You know, so I can honestly say that it's more about how the plastic looks with all the flash and warpage and things like that that kind of put you like Mr. Craft kits. You know they're going to be old tooling, but they're not being looked after.
Or as they call it, mystery craft.
Yeah, mystery craft. But then again, you've got Airfix, and you know, this was one of the things I've always said is that, you know, they do what was it? It was that was it Westland? What was it? Westland Wessex? Was they do an old version of a Westland Wessex or something?
No, I think this is the first time. It was the Wessex. It's the old Wessex 5 they did before. The green and white one.
No, which is the one which had the both, you know, the rotors.
Right. Before they brought out everything never did a Chinook, but they did a helicopter called the C9, which is
no, the Belvedere. Talk about the Belvedere.
Oh yeah, the Belvedere.
Oh, yeah. So Airfix went to great pains to release the Bombug and the Oster Antarctic because the glass was missing, so they had to re-engineer the clear plastic to sell that kit. But they released the Belvedere, and we knew for years that the glass just doesn't fit. It's
especially
terrible.
in 2 halves.
Yeah, it comes to top, and it just doesn't fit. So if they had spent the money on with the Bombug and the Belvedere, thanks, Garrett. Yeah, I got that. The Belvedere, like they did with the Bombug, where they re-engineered the glass and it fits perfectly, and it's even on the Bombug because it's plastic, a plastic sheet. They even got the distortion from it being plastic in that. You would then buy that kit, that Belvedere, but you wouldn't now because everyone knows since 1962 when it was first produced, the glass just doesn't fit. It just doesn't. You have to really work hard to get it to fit, and I think that was a poor decision from Airfix. So when I got one to do a review on, I knew deep in my heart, because the plastic's still the same as it was back in the 1960s. In 1960s, I'll never build that kit. So when it comes to accuracy, I don't think we really worry so much. We just want a kit to go together with the least amount of pain, and effort. Laziness, really, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen this we've just seen this that Russ put up. Detail and accuracy are the difference between a toy and a collectible.
Correct.
He's right.
Yeah,
He's right, Russ.
What Moz just said, that the plastic never fitted. If you remember, Matchbox had the I can't remember. There was a series of like futuristic army cars.
Yeah.
The
2000.
2000. Yeah, the 2000s. If you remember, one of them with the long nose, the windscreen never fitted. It was always out. Any models I looked, the same model from that 2000
the Adventure 2000.
Yeah, that's the one. That plastic was always out, and if you look at the interior, it's chrome color.
Yeah,
that is.
It won't be. It won't be when I've done it.
Oh yeah, sure.
They went through a phase though, didn't they? They had the fire engine. They had the tow truck, where all the interiors was chrome behind sort of a yellowy orange glass, and looked awful.
Well, I don't know why they do that. Was it cost related, or they were just lazy to paint it to a different color? Or
I think they were trying to make it appeal to kids. I think at that point it was toys rather than accuracy.
Yeah, but if you remember, if you remember the Dodge Challenger by Matchbox, that was chrome interior as well.
Yeah.
Because what year are we talking about? Because it could be
80s.
It might be a case of getting to, because if you think about it, Matchbox folded around about 88, 89.
78, 79, 80, 81, 82.
83 went bankrupt. 82 was Dinky Toys, and then 83 was Matchbox.
No, I think Matchbox, maybe the car bit went first, but the plastic carried on for another couple of years afterwards.
Oh, that I don't know. Yeah, but the diecast was 83, and then it went to Hong Kong, I think. Or
because Matchbox plastic went to a different company for a while, and they kept it going for a bit.
Yes.
1982 was when they went bankrupt the first time. You can watch my video on it called Matchbox. It's a good history.
Yeah, because you can actually tell when they actually went to boxes.
I was thinking
went to the black boxes with the ticks on them, when it hockey stick ticks.
Yeah, I was thinking
that's when you knew it was someone else doing them.
A spot on. I think Ian's absolutely right there. Absolutely right.
I mean, I've known plastic kit builders who want to throw the planes at each other when they've. But like Moss says, whether it be a car or a plastic kit, if you throw it, it's going to stick out your ear like.
James May, right? James May did a video or a documentary about Airfix. It was a James May's Toys of Childhood or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he got a load of kids to build tanks, right? In classroom, and they all did, and they had the opportunity to go and blow them up, right? And one kid didn't, because he was so proud of what he built. He kept it, and James May commented on it, and that is the difference between somebody who wants to play with it or somebody that appreciates the effort and the time and the skill level of building it, that he didn't want to destroy it and wreck it. And I think Ian's hit a good point here, that when kids years ago in the 70s and 80s would build these tanks, and then they would play with them in the mud pits or in the sand pits. It doesn't work like that these days. The only time they ever get used now, if you build a 1/76 scale tank, is if you're a war gamer, and that's where the market is at for them, and that's when they move them. Yeah, they don't get covered.
It's always been the
in
same,
sand,
though,
do they?
Moz. It's always been the same. I mean, you had the kids that used to play with the diecast cars
Yeah.
in the street and race them down the street and things like that. And then there were the kids that used to get them, take them out, play with them, and then put them back in their boxes. Hence, why you can still buy model cars from that era in their boxes, because the division of kids was exactly the same then as it is now. You know, whereby some people want to play with them and some people want to just keep them as items.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll get Ash on from the War Game crew. Perhaps we can talk him into it after he's met us at the event and it gets goes a bit better. But some of their diecast, sorry, forgive me, some of their dioramas where they do like inside the Nostromo from Alien are stunning. You know, down to the last detail, down to dust, down to computers, vents, you name it, the weathering, that kind of stuff. Now, I will say their fantasy models are fantasy models. You know, they're not based on anything real. But when they start doing World War II appreciation war games, there's some really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Next question.
What's the next? Did I miss it, Bryan? We'll just draw that one to a close then. I think I'm the only one I missed is Bryan. Bryan, inaccuracy acceptable, or does it ruin a model for you?
Again, it's a 50-50 split. If you're talking diecast, I don't think it matters.
All right.
I think it's to end up with the model that you want. It's fine with aircraft. I mean, spraying a Spitfire pink and turning it into Lady Penelope Spitfire would not be acceptable. You know, so I think
that's not bad. I don't know.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
I hate to say this. Some Spitfires were actually painted pink during the war.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I mean. So
I know they weren't, as I say, they're more of a pale pink. You're talking about painting like a candy pink, like Fab One.
Yeah. So
you're right. You're right in what you say, though, Bryan. You know, it's your model. You do what you want with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the one thing that sometimes gets lost with plastic models, and there are some. I mean, I've been watching that guy Greg's models.
Yeah.
And his attention to detail is pretty spectacular. But I do wonder sometimes when you're spending 4 hours sanding off rivets so you can put your own rivets on, whether the joy of actually just making a model kit is getting lost somewhere.
And also, does it enhance the accuracy?
Exactly. And I think it's down to what we've said all along. You do what makes you happy. If you want to make it as accurate as possible and you realise that wing there actually didn't have 75 rivets, it had 73. If you want to sand off the two that are too many, then if that makes you happy, do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, just saying that, it's in the eye of the beholder, because, you know, Corgi have made a point last year where they recreated a TSR2 with a camel scheme. No TSR2 ever flew with a camel scheme.
No.
And the Land Rover that they did,
rusted.
They weathered it and made it rusty, but they sold out. So you tell me, does accuracy count?
Exactly. If it tickled your fancy, then where's the problem?
You know, Luke doing that Jag in that awful colour. You know what I mean? But it looked great. But it wasn't British Racing Green, was it?
Exactly.
But it was his model. I got one tonight. I got a comment tonight when I built my Tempest. It should be chromate yellow in the wheel wells. But I was just following the instructions, and actually, I thought it looked better having it as metallic, or, you know, as a silver underneath, you know, showing bare metal. Because he may say, "Oh, it should have had zinc chromate yellow wheel wells." Well, were they all painted zinc chromate yellow Well, no, they weren't, because sometimes they just got them out as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
Mhm. And one of the interesting things I saw there was a World War II documentary, and it was on YouTube. I think it was originally BBC. It's like, you know, we get as plastic modelers, we get sort of hung up with putting the decals on and getting them so that, you know, they're absolutely, you know, they're down perfectly. A lot of those roundels on planes were painted quite roughly.
Mm.
That, yeah, they weren't perfect roundels. They, you know, the paint finishes on those planes with the speed which they had to get them out there. They weren't. They weren't. There wasn't like a blueprint like this plane can't leave until it looks like this.
No.
But then again, you know, when it comes to, sorry to go off a little subject here, but when it comes to accuracy, I remember when Airfix released the Spitfire Mark 9, right, in 1/24th scale, what did they do about the Canadian leaf motif? Even the pilot couldn't remember whether the leaf was red or green. So the lads who designed the scheme up gave you a choice of a green or a red leaf.
Yeah.
Because even the pilot, he said it was green, but normally they would be red because it was Canadian. You know, you got that mentality going through. And so the Airfix were that worried, you know, thinking, oh, this is going to drop a bollock here. They go, right then, you know, boom, we'll do it as, we'll put both in so that they can argue amongst themselves.
I
And
mean,
even
Johnny
with
Johnson's one, wasn't it?
yeah, that's it, Johnny Johnson's one. And then you had the argument of him flying a Spitfire with beer barrels underneath.
There's so many of them, though, isn't there, Moz? I mean, it's like, you know, what is olive drab? What colour is olive drab? Yeah.
British racing green.
I mean, hang on, Gary. Should we bring scale effect into this as well?
Steady now, steady.
But you're right. But, you know, you got these people who will argue the toss on accuracy.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you want accuracy, you build accuracy. You want to do, you do it. But don't put your judgment on the rest of us who just follow the instructions.
Exactly.
We've answered 4 questions. We've answered. We've been able to
colours. I come across a picture a few months ago of the Lancaster production line at Woodford in Cheshire, and there's several fuselages in there, and no 2 fuselages looked exactly the same colour.
Yeah.
No.
It's all down to what materials, what pigments they could get older to make the paints at those times.
Mm.
I'm going to move. We I didn't know that this was going to blow up so much because it's quite a discussion. We've only asked 4 questions. We will do question. We might get to question 6 if we're lucky.
4 questions of one topic. There were 2 topics.
There was 2 topics, yeah. So it looks like we're going to be putting brand loyalty back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
It's interesting though that this, what you think, just going slightly off topic, what you think's not going to be a topic can evoke such a deep discussion.
We didn't even mention Code 3.
What the hell's Code 3? Being ignorant.
That's a can of worms on its own. Don't start that.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. Excuse me, but what's Code 3?
Let's do question 5.
Well, yeah. Well, is it? I don't know. There are restorers of this list of codes, right? So if you do it this, it's a code 1. If you do this, it's a code 2. If you do this, it's a code 3. And you're getting more and more away from the original version.
Oh, the old, what they call, as we call it in modelling, 6 points of separation.
Yeah. But you can skip the first 2 and go straight to code 3.
Yeah.
Because code 3 denotes. I'm going to.
You modify.
I really don't want to do this tonight. We'll save it for another night. But effectively, code 3 says something on the lines of any alteration from the original model
without the consent of the producer of
Yeah.
the model.
is a code 3.
Yeah.
So
which is everything we do.
which
Yeah.
is everything that we do. So everything we do is a code 3.
Yeah.
You know, whether you want to admit, there are people who say, "Well, I've specifically done this because it's a code 3." No, you've drawn the rivets out. That's not original. That's a code 3. Where's the original rivets?
Yeah.
You know, so it get as much as we've got. I mean, I guess both hobbies. Put it on one big umbrella. You can call code 3. You know, if you make an alteration, you get an Airfix model, right? Now, I know that the idea back in the day was you were allowed to do so much fettling, you know, to get the thing together and what have you like, to say the least. But if you were to, I mean, effectively, you shouldn't do anything to a diecast model because it comes something else instantly.
The plastic kit equivalent, Gary, would be your wings don't fit perfectly, so you put a bit of plastic card in to fill the gap. That would be a code 3 plastic kit because that's not what was originally in the box, and it's bloody ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that even. I think that if you buy someone else's model and strip the paint and put new paint on it, that would be a code 3. I think.
Well, everything's code 3 in diecast mods. If you unless you're leaving it as it was, everything is a code 3.
You wouldn't restore it in the first place. Defeats the object, really, the exercise. I mean, if you talk, you know, let's leave it there.
But you can see the point. It's bloody horrible.
I think there's so much with the code 3.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, thanks for that, Gary. Yeah. All right.
Just a quick question, then. This is going to be the last one, quickly.
That might be the last one for you. Do you ever research real vehicles before buying or building a model? Or do you just go, I like that model, I'm having it? You know, or car or vehicle?
Well, Moz sent me a Alvis Stalwart, and at our local tank place, they just got hold of one, and we went there for the day for Connor's 16th birthday, and I went round that Stalwart with my phone, and I must have taken 80 or 90 pictures, just so that when I actually get round to building it, I've got the photographic backup. So yes, I would. For plastic models, I would. With diecast, I think it's just what tickles your fancy.
Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view, if we're going to do a modern day paint job, you're going to go and do a bit of research, like what are BMW colours. Now they may not be what you'd expect, but there may be a modern version of a model that's 30 years old, and you apply a new version of that. Go on.
I tell you, when I do research, is when I do the details on a car. I also do. I agree with the color, picking the right color. For example, very specially, I look the Dinky toys and Corgi toys of the 60s, because I always try to pick a period correct color. But the most research I do is when I detail the tail lights and the indicators.
Yeah.
So I always try to find pictures of that particular car to see if, you know, all the little airflows on the side, or which one is the brake light and which one is the indicator, which way they are. So I always do that, because I always want to do that accurately. So it doesn't look, you know, like somebody's looking at it, oh, you know what, that brake light is not on the right place. Yeah. So I do the most research on that one. But definitely sometimes when I even start thinking that, I'm going to do that car, and even before I start doing the car, start doing the video clips, I just go on Google, before I go to sleep, for example, and see, okay, let's type in Citroen SM 1972, and let's see what colors it came out of, and
And what colour it looks
colors
best
I
in.
have, and what colors I have.
And you try and get on the back of that, if we're modifying, for want of a better phrase, or try and make it look more realistic, you'll try and get photographs of a front end and a back end of a vehicle, like you say, to
for the lights.
get the lights in the right place. You do your best to.
And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I'm surprised that how accurate some of the models are from the 60s. So they even have the chrome bits. The lamps look, identical. Not everything is correct, but sometimes I'm surprised how correct they do the details on a small, like 1:64 scale.
Lukey?
Pretty much the same as what Lazi's on about. If you're doing a car, like I tend to do when I pick a model, there's something that I like the look of anyway. So you might research, like Laz was saying, about whether the indicator at the top of the light or at the bottom. Also, you can pick out the chrome trim, especially on the back of the car, what was chrome or what wasn't. Because on many of the die-casts, you hit the car at the back, it'll have a trim. Sometimes it was chrome, sometimes it weren't, but you can pick it out if you want to anyway. Stuff like around the window apertures, sometimes the pillars might be black, and then with chrome inserts, especially on the SV Rover. So yeah, just use Google Images. I do for just to pick out some little details that I want to do, and it does help for the interior as well when you're detailing in there. What kind of colours are we using?
Yeah.
Gary?
Well, I have a bit of a unique access to Hendon, so I can actually go and look at proper aircraft. Like one of the kits Airfix did a couple of years ago when it came out was the Buccaneer. One of the schemes is what they call Guinness Girl, and she is actually still in her original paint at Hendon, so they've not touched her. They literally rolled her in, brought her back, stored her somewhere, then moved her to Hendon. Another kit was a Chinook that served in the Falklands, what they call Bravo November, or as it says here, where's it gone? The Flying Angel. And if I can bring that picture up there she is actually in service in the Falklands.
I'm far on that, Gary.
She's actually quite a historic, famous helicopter. So when I do her, I've got some decent reference material to make her look as accurate as she was during that time.
Yeah, just not necessarily in closing. I know that Zinzan, welcome, mate. Good to see you. And to all Moz's friends and subscribers, and and Gary's. Thank you for joining us. And just a personal request. We are fall short of 200 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, you don't have to pay anything. We all do this free of charge. Nobody gets charged anything. Please subscribe. It'd be great to get to 200. Just make a little bit of progress. So appreciate the support. It's much appreciated. And greetings to everybody that we didn't say hello to when you first joined us. We'll ask one more because Zinzan only just joined us. This is a good one. This one is. Are older vintage models on both sides of the coinage?
Well, I didn't get asked my answer for that last question. I carry on.
You're going to ramble on for about an hour. Go on then. Go on.
I don't research. I think that the people who have designed the schemes for the kits are mostly pretty accurate in what they put out there. So I just carry on and build it where it comes in the box. Carry on.
You know, let me think about. Let me just ask you this then. because you talked about molded on parts. Yeah. Do you enjoy doing a model with 200 parts? Let's say you've got a scale of 143 or 125th, whatever it may be. Do you enjoy doing a bigger model because it's got more parts? Because I've also heard you argue the toss that, well, why didn't you just build it into the the mold itself rather than having 200 parts? Where what a waste of time.
So you're talking mini art
What
here,
a
aren't
waste
you?
of time. I don't mean
Yeah.
that.
You're talking mini art.
I knew we'd go down this rabbit hole.
There comes a point in any build where you think to yourself, was it really necessary for 60 parts when you could have molded it in 20?
Yeah. Do
And
I
I
need
go,
spark plugs in the engine?
yeah, would you know, they could easily be molded in. That's the question. And my answer is it's personal preference. I shy away from doing a Sherman from mini art because I know that it will just be part after, they will go down to the minuscule. And for me, the joy is in getting it together and then doing the paint. That's my joy. And then, I'm not really a fan of decals, but I do them. But for me, it's like I say, there comes a point when you think to yourself, and also every part you have to clean up. That's the killer for me, is the cleaning up. So if you've got a mini art kit that says it's got 900 pieces on this in the box, you know that 700 of them is going to be with the tracks. That 700 pieces you're going to have to snip and sand, snip and sand, snip and sand. It's not worth the aggravation. But also, I will say that I've built kits that are in 1/32 scale and they've got 40 parts, and I've built kits in 72nd scale and they've got 80 parts.
Yeah.
Size of the kit doesn't matter. It's what you do with them, really. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think the pleasure with Tamiya kits is that they're relatively well detailed, but they've thought about how it goes together for the modeler. And you'll see that more now with Airfix kits because you have a designer who is a scale modeler. So when you see you've got little jigs and you've got paint masks, and things like that in a kit, and it goes together with very little thing, you don't have to think about it. This part here goes into here, bump. Like with Tamiya, you get the beauty with Tamiya is that you'll have a panel to put on, and one of the pins will be smaller than the other because they want you to put it in the correct way. You haven't got any guesswork, because if it goes in and the pin's too big, it's not going to fit. So you turn it around and then it will fit. And those are the things that bring a pleasure to a build. You don't have to think about it too much. You see the picture, you see what's got to be put in position, and boom. And when you've got a part that's got two locating pins but the same size, but they are different, and even with Tamiya, they'll tell you that this suspension, the bigger pin goes to the, look at the suspension, the bigger pin's at the top and the smaller pin's at the bottom. You haven't got to worry about it. You see it, you know it'll fit, boom, done, job done.
The great thing with Tamiya is you don't sacrifice detail, do you? A lot of it is molded.
Yeah, a lot of it is molded.
I'll
Like
I'll
this.
slightly
Look at
disagree
that.
with that with that one. I haven't built that gap recently. Yes, they could have made the molded some of the parts you had to add to the cockpit tub, molded on, and you would still got the same detail. As I say, I've also got a brand new I would say brand new manager. They've been manufactured. They've been around for about 2 or 3 years. Company from New Zealand called Kotar. They just brought out late last year a 109 in 32nd. And most of the detail is actually molded onto the plane. So it's all down to detail painting. Sometimes you can over detail something by trying to put too many parts in it, and and you've got the risk of lossage, breakage, especially some of these smaller parts. As Moss will probably tell you, because some of these small parts are so fine. Grabbing tweezers the wrong way, I'm hitting off somewhere, the distant wherever, or they snap.
Say hello to the carpet monster.
Well, it just disappears into the ether. Never, you hear it ping somewhere, you've got no idea where it's ricocheted to.
Yeah, one of mine ended up in Aberdeen one day, I'll tell you.
That is one thing that does apply to both sides of the hobby.
I will say one thing though, between spraying up a diecast car and spraying up a plane, I've never known chip to paint so easily on a diecast than on a plastic kit. And
Yeah,
I'm going
you don't have to do a lot.
Yeah, I'm
Anytime
going
you
to
get chipping on a plastic kit, you see brass painting and it sticks on something and you lift it and you go, chunk comes off.
I mean, I mean, I'm not saying nobody can fill Martin's boots. Nobody. I don't emphasise that. But Luke is fast becoming the modern day version of Martin, and I don't say that lightly because we've experienced his work.
Thing is that I'm more into like customizing stuff, aren't I?
Yeah. But is that something you?
It's something about as soon as I pass my test, BJ, that's all I've done with every single car I've owned, and it's something my dad did with the older cars from his era. I grew up with him restoring cars and taking a V6 out and putting a V8 in and stuff like that. It's just in my blood. So,
do you agree from your point of view that if you've done that escort for Laz, I mean, he's not going to chuck it round the room, like the kid's toy. But do you think it stands up the modern day paint stand up to being bashed about or chipped easily?
it will. That paint I use does because it's 2K. It's the stuff they use on a normal car, so it will. So you could drop it on the floor and it probably wouldn't chip anyway. Once that 2K clear's gone off, that's it. It's really good.
It's fantastic, this one. Can't wait to show it to my dad.
But a lot of the stuff you see, the people chipping and they're touching it and it's coming off, they haven't keyed the casting properly or they haven't rubbed the undercoat down. Paint won't stick if it's not keyed up. You've got to key it up.
I mean, I watched that the weathering one that you did.
Yeah,
I've seen that today in real, in your Renault.
And the level you went to in detail, I've treated it like a mini real car, if that makes sense. Down to the rubbing down the paint to get the primer through, and I thought, where is he going with this? Where's this going to end up?
I would have just painted it halfway through. I said, put the paint on. That's it, finished.
But it's the same with any of the boys. They've all got a level of skill, and some of the stuff that they do is incredible, whether it be plastic kit or restorations. I encourage you to please subscribe to Lazi Collectables, to Gremlin's Modelling Mayhem, to MOS Models, to Bryan's Model Workshop, to Luke Scale Customs, and if you're so desperate for videos, to Midlife Models. We'll ask one last question, and then we'll call it a night. That we can put this accuracy one to bed because we haven't even started the brand one, and Gary's opened a can of worms about codes as well. I suspect now.
Well, remember, I am new to this lot.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that now. Thanks, Gary's kidding. Our older vintage models. Now, this does apply to both sides of the modelling world, are older vintage models excused for being less accurate?
I think yes, because they become vintage. People don't treat them as, oh, this is doesn't look right. They say, oh, look at that model. I remember that one when I was a kid,
Mm.
and I think they like that more. I mean, I personally, I like matchboxes up till the tin superfast wheels
Yeah.
and dinkies and corgis. So anything up the fat superfast wheels, I'm not too interested.
1976 as a cut-off, and with the plastic models, I think for a lot of us, it's the box art. You got the Roy Crossley box art, and that, I mean, some of those are so emotive. It's almost sacrilege making the kits. It's, you want the box art.
Yeah. Gary?
As I say, Moz will knows as well. I do build a lot of the old 70s Airfix, and you have to be a bit, as they say, like with it, like horses, you have to be a wrangler to control. You have to be a bit of a plastic wrangler to get them to work. And I have had some very decent jobs where people said, "How old's that kit?" "Oh, it's this old." And I said, "Pardon?"
And I guess a lot of it's to do with the old and modern day tooling on plastic kits that you've now got.
It's just a case with the older kits. It's just a case of as Clint Eastwood, a man's got to know its limitations. Changing it slightly, you know it's going to be limited. You know you're going to have to do work on it. So you come with that mindset that you're going to know you're going to face a few problems here, there, whatever, and you're prepared to put the work in. You can make a half decent thing. Reversing the old phrase, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Or you can make from a sow's ear, you can make a silk purse with some of the older kits.
Trying to avoid the black plastic.
Well, the Wellington I built end of last year was black plastic. That was fun.
Yeah. Moz?
I think I'm with Gary with this. Trying to make something look good. It's very, when you've got a kit that you have to really work hard at, like Gary was saying, you're polishing a turd, aren't you? Really?
So you're saying you started off on the back foot really before you've.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But you know what you're getting with a vintage classic. Like I said, the vintage classics. What I tend to do is buy the vintage classic. Now I've got the kit from when it was molded first, when it was the fresh tooling, so the plastic's fresh. And to be fair, the 70s plastic wasn't that bad.
It's a lot.
Some of the 90s plastic is crap, in it, Gary.
Oh,
crap.
Yeah.
So I'll take
flexes, all sorts of 90s plastic.
Yeah,
I think that's something we could all agree on. To be fair, because we talk about the Hot Wheels and things like. Although I will say, Hot Wheels are trying to do a lot more with the European builds.
And I think Hot Wheels is doing less fantasy cars now.
Yes,
I see less in the shops, a lot less, more real cars. Not maybe premium ones, but real cars. And I see less fantasy cars. I think people don't buy them anymore.
You still get a lot of what they call peg warmers, though.
Yeah.
So, what you're basically saying, Laz, what the average man in the street would possibly own.
I think they've identified that it's not children buying Hot Wheels anymore; it's adults, and adults want real cars.
Yeah, I think the fantasy cars are the sandpit fillers. Go and play with this one. I don't care this one, and they keep the real ones. I mean the cars representing a real one.
Yeah, great point from Russ there. New models and kits are designed using CAD software. In the old days, they were draft people on the drawing board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could be a failed Ferrari designer and get a job with,
With the
Matchbox
diecast,
or,
yeah.
good point, Russ. Luke?
Yeah, I quite like the older stuff, especially the diecast stuff from the 40s and stuff like that. I know they haven't got the detail of the, from the later stuff, but they've got a certain charm to them, definitely. I think Martin's last video was the Auto Union on it, the Roadster.
Yeah.
I did one of them. It's quite a primitive casting. I sprayed that in like a metallic silver, and then I'd done a little bit of highlighting with some black candy just over the tops of the wheel arches, and just around where the driver had sits, and it just enhanced the model. I think I give it to Ian Ollie. I think I donated it to him, but I thought that looked quite nice when it was done. I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. Just going back to Ian's comment there, it goes back to my previous comment that they were sold as toys, not as today's tailored to the diecast collector.
Yeah.
But understand this, though, that back in the day, there were those that still would look for cars that were tailored for the collector. I got a feeling, and I may be wrong, that which is the one that is it Oxford Diecast?
Yes.
They were, to be fair, they were a bit haphazard, but I know that when I've gone to people to buy models off to sell, their collection that are still in the boxes were those Oxford Diecast ones. They were never play worn or nothing. It always seemed to be that some of these diecast cars and trucks and whatever that some people used to leave them in their boxes and not play with them. So were they designed and tailored for to be played with? Because the majority of the kits I get or diecasts that I get, if it's Oxford, it would be in the box. It wouldn't be out the box. Anything else, they would come just as a car.
The Oxford ones you were getting, Moz, are they 176 or are they 143rd?
176.
Yeah, because 176, a lot of them are being used for model railway layouts.
Yeah.
They were never. What I'm saying is that when I'm buying up job lots, I go to auction, you will see old cars lying around, but the ones in boxes would necessarily were the Oxford ones. So whether there was a lot of proof in the pudding because of the packaging of diecast from Oxford Diecast made it look like that you shouldn't be playing with this kit, if you see what I mean.
Oh, they are beautiful. I've got quite a lot of them.
But they didn't sell as well as Corgi. That's why.
No, they didn't.
Because I remember the old, I think it must have been Corgi, the old Formula One cars back in the late 70s. We had the car pulling the trailer with the car on the trailer.
Yeah.
Now, were they designed to be played with, or were they designed to be collected?
I've always said that if a car comes on a base and it's got a screw in the middle of it, you don't play with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's always been my take. If they've got a little bit, what are they called? Have they got zip ties around them? They're to be played with. But as I said, when did cars become collectible items and not playable? What year was that? That's what you got to look at. The same with Airfix. In all the plastic kits, Tamiya's tanks from the 70s, and you buy them now and build them now. They were designed to have electrics inside them, and so that they would move.
Yeah, because some of the diecast boxes, like you built that one, you can actually see where you have to fit the battery box.
Yeah. So when did models stop being playable and they become? It's a good question to ask, but yeah. So, but I say the majority of toys I pick, Barago's different because they're just huge, aren't they? You know what I mean? And they're on the base; they got a screw in it. But all the smaller stuff, you'll be surprised how much. Or the other ones is the yesteryear models. That's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, come in their boxes. They were never played with.
and the leather ones.
But all the rest, like the Matchbox, your Corgi, your Dinky, they never come in boxes.
No,
If they do
yeah,
come in
no,
boxes,
no,
they
no,
normally buy themselves and they go for about 50, 60 quid because it's got the box with it. But all
Yeah.
these other ones, so when did it stop being a player into a collectible? All I can say
It's an interesting point.
But I think it's another point with these models of yesteryears and leather ones that I think kids didn't like them.
No.
That's
I
why
think the big problem with those, Laz, is the fact that Adele had maybe a couple of dozen castings that he could use. And you know yourself, you'll get a Model T4 that'll have 500 different liveries,
Yeah,
but it's essentially the same model.
yeah,
And that's the problem with the Ledo stuff.
yeah.
That's why nobody touches it. I mean, I bought a box of models of yesteryear, like this kind of big. There must have been 25 models, all in boxes, and I picked it up for 20 quid. So it was
Yeah.
less than a pound a model. And don't get me wrong, the models of yesteryear are beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
they are
models.
nice. Yes.
But the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s cars, and nobody wants them.
Yeah, I do like them. I think they look fantastic. I've got some Solidos from Martin, like 1930s Fiat 125, I think, and some old Mercedes, like these old 30 styles. They look fantastic. They look beautiful.
The
And
Matchbox
nobody wants
ones,
them.
the old Bugattis and the Duesenbergs and things like that, they look stunning. But you can't give them
Nobody
away.
wants them. They made perfectly. If you look at the model, all the tires and everything, they look
The little
fantastic.
handbrake on the side, the spare
Yeah.
wheels, everything. Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
nobody wants them.
No.
You need to throw after people. Come on, take it. I'll give you 50p. Just
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from just to round this up, with the vintage side of things, the irony is that you're trying to restore something that's inaccurate in the first place.
Mm.
So just from my point of view as a Jerry Anderson collector, you only got to choose something like the UFO Interceptor. It was never green; it was white. And it's because Dinky had a ton of green paint. They painted them all green, and now people are saying, "Well, that's not the right shade of green." Yeah, but it was never
Green in the first
effing
place.
well green in the first place.
The
Like,
Shadow
so
Mobile
you're
being
starting
green
off
and
on the
it should have
wrong
been
foot
blue.
before you start.
Yeah.
Thunderbird 2 being blue, the Eagles having green cockpits.
Yeah.
Some of them actually had blue ones as well, if I remember rightly. I think
Yeah.
Dinky took a bit liberties at times.
I think half the time, what we're trying to do is to pay homage to a lot of these models, whether it be plastic kits or probably the restorers are probably paying homage more than anything else.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, we went on a little bit more than
just one thing, one more point I'm going to add is that, like I've just said, Corgi released cars and a Land Rover and a TSR2 that sold out. Sometimes these companies will just chuck shit at a wall and hope something will stick. And like we've said before, Matchbox doing all these bold and brass colours. If they sell, they're going to do more of it. If they don't sell, they won't. And I think that's, and I always, as I said, you go back to what Steve Jobs used to say. They don't bother with market research. They try stuff, and if the customer likes it, they're going to buy it. And if they don't like it, they won't. And that goes for every single hobby in the world. You've got those who will want to go back to playing golf. You got people who prefer a certain grip, fishing, certain reels, whether they're front spool or side spool. There's so much out there. But at the end of the day, that as consumers, they're not going to make stuff that isn't going to sell because it'll go bust. So when you see these odd intricacies and different, things, they've pulled on someone's heartstring and got a G string played out of it, or they played the C minor note. So it depends on what goes on. So as I said, at the end of the day, modelers and these companies will only build or make what people are going to buy. So if you see them keep doing it Airfix and Spitfires, you hear people moan about it, but they sell hundreds of thousands of Spitfires
It's
over
their
the years.
business model. It's their business
Yeah.
model. Yeah.
As I
Yeah.
say, there's basically any model company has 4 basic cash cows: Spitfire, 109s, Hurricanes, Mustangs.
Oh, you forgot one. Tiger tanks.
But I'm saying I'm talking about aircraft. I'm just talking about aircraft stuff mainly. At the moment.
That's it, and but don't buy into all this bullshit that we produce Spitfires to pay for the next tooling. Nah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that, because that means if a kit does sell well and you release it twice on the bounce in 2 years, you should be using that money from that kit to make other kits. So I don't buy that argument anymore.
Alrighty. Well, we didn't even get onto the second subject and didn't even finish the first properly. So, who thought it'd spark off so much debate? But it's a fascinating subject, and thanks to the boys for taking it in the spirit it was meant. So, just to recap, we've reached, apparently.
Your teeth in, PJ.
I haven't had that many either. We've reached £600 on Martin's charity fund. The charity fund will close at the end of March. My thanks on behalf of the family, because I'm not saying I'm the representative, but they're thrilled. Thank you to everybody who's donated. Fantastic effort on behalf of everybody. We are very close to reaching 200 subscribers. We are steadily moving forward, and it's thanks to the boys with their input that keep this going. Thanks to our benefactors who help pay our license fees. A lot of them online tonight, a lot of them in the chat. It's much appreciated. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Things are tough at the minute for everybody. I appreciate that. But without the support, we don't keep going forward. We don't do this. So there's that. We've got the live event next Saturday. If you're in the local, if you're close to if you're in the Midlands, and you live anywhere near Swaddling in South Derbyshire, you can find the details on our Facebook page. Please sign up for the Facebook page. Both channels, whether it be the YouTube channel, whether it be the Facebook group, cost nothing. Me and Moz have both argued the toss, not against each other, mainly against YouTube, that it shouldn't be called subscribe. It should be called follow. These channels are free, and we don't ask anything other than if you want to be a benefactor and help us out, it is much appreciated. So yeah, we're very close to 200. We're very close to 500 on the Facebook group. So thank you to everybody who's already subscribed. Much appreciated. My thanks to my friend Laz, to Luke, again, Owen, JB, for travelling, mainly to Laz for travelling over. It's been a dream of ours to do this. Yeah. Laz has got a new view of what we do here. So there's that. We'll be back in 2 weeks, possibly talking about Code 3. Well, I wasn't going to say it, but it might have to be code 3s. Who knows? It might be the codes on different models. Gary's opened a can of worms inadvertently, and not his fault, but he hit on a good point.
Love you, John.
Love
Yeah.
you, John. I'll be in
Uh,
touch.
Right.
Yeah, well, we hopefully we'll see a lot of people on Saturday. My thanks, as always, to everybody, our irregular regulars that have come and joined us in the chat. Sorry, the voice is going. And the support that I've received and the families received, Marty's families received. It's been you unless you sat here, you can't imagine the love and reach out that we've had. It's been incredible. So, with that being said, my thanks to Gary, to Moz, to Luke, to Bryan, to Laz, and from me, Jay. From me, Jay?
Me, PJ.
Definitely need to take more water with it.
Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. We love you all. Thank you much for your support, and we'll catch you soon.
Good night.
Take it
Cheers.
easy, everyone.
Goodbye,
Have a
everybody.
good one.